Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. My wife and I had a most unusual experience. Saturday night before our Thanksgiving. We went to a UJA Federation function, now Jewish Appeal Federation, of Jewish philanthropies. Reason we went is because we simply wanted to recognize everyone who was there, who had made a contribution to Israel in light of what's been happening since October 7. When I was chairman of UJA Federation a number of years ago, we raised about $250 million annually from the Jewish community in the city of New York. Obviously, New York is a place where there is significant wealth, and there's the ability to raise significant amounts of money. And that $250 million that we raised annually in that time was used two purposes. One, half of it went primarily to Israel. The other half went to New Yorkers. With humanitarian needs. You did not have to be Jewish. You could be Gentile, you could be Jewish, you could be black, you could be white, you can get gay, you could be straight, you could be LFGQRZ. If you're a human being, there were and are 100 different social service networks to which, if you need help in any dimension, you'll go, and UJA Federation will help take care of you. October 7 happened. The impact on the Jewish community in New York was incredible. The 240, 250 went up to 450, $200 million more because of the needs in Israel. So almost immediately after October 7, money and support started flowing to Israel. It was extraordinary. And the money has kept flowing, has kept coming. On that Saturday night, Isaac Herzog, the president of Israel, came to talk to the group. I dealt with him. I dealt with his father, Chaim, years ago. And the last time I saw Isaac, 15, 20 years ago, he walks into the room, takes a look at me and says, "Larry, how are you?" Gives me a big hug. And I felt like a macha. But the purpose of his coming was to describe to us the impact this additional 200 million has had on the people in the state of Israel since October 7. It was powerful. The realization that people in New York felt the impact as deeply as we did was recognized that Saturday night here in New York, and on all the nights since October 7 in Israel. It shows the strength of the Jewish community, the commitment of the Jewish community, not just in New York, but globally. We just have the ability to give more because it's New York than most other major urban centers in the Jewish community. But the importance of giving, the importance of being there, the importance of recognizing what's happened in that part of the world, clear as a bell. Now, sure, we've seen the rise of anti-Semitic furor globally. It's increased to a degree that we could never anticipate. The extent to which anti-Semitism surfaced at major universities around the country. I'm on the board of New York University. We had demonstrations shortly after October 7. We arrested a whole group of them. We found that 55% of those demonstrating were not students. They had no business being there. They were demonstrators, professional demonstrators. Somebody organized them, because the difference between October 7 and the day they were demonstrating, a day or two. How the hell could that have happened as quickly and as positively as it did? And this is universally the case around the country. Columbia, same thing, major universities. The bulk of the demonstrators were not students, had nothing to do with being on the campus. But by golly, they were organized prior to October 7. Pretty damn deliberate and horrifying. So, truth of the matter is, it's a fight that unquestionably is going to continue for God only knows how long. One of the things that we recognized at NYU was that people who were demonstrating didn't have a clue about why they were really demonstrating. Didn't have a clue as to what's happened in the state of Israel for the last 3,000 years. The number of wars we have fought in different parts of the world over anti-Semitic furor. The impact it's had on the state of Israel. It's kind of incredible. One of the things that we found in the halls of higher education that was really enormously moving. Look at the number of Nobel Prizes won by the Muslim world, 20% of the world population. 7. The number of Nobel Prizes won by the Jewish community, just under 3,000. 2% of the population. You begin to think about how this has happened. Jews have always believed in the importance of education. It's been a fundamental belief. Not so with the rest of the population. So one of the things that we've determined to do at New York University, I'm sure other universities will undoubtedly follow suit, they've decided to teach a course, a mandatory course that you cannot graduate from NYU without taking. And it's a course on what's happened in the Jewish world over the last 3,000 years and how circumstance evolved in the state of Israel. Because as a result of taking this course, people will begin to understand how the Jewish community has been affected over 3,000 years by anti-Semitism. Hopefully, it'll do some good. I'm also told that you're here for a very important purpose. You're here because you want to talk about investments. You want to talk about making the right decisions in your life. So before I leave, I want to tell you, what do you think is the single most important decision you can make in your life? The single most. What do you think it is? What is it? What is it? Marry the right spouse. Because you marry the wrong one. Not good. As a matter of fact, it's terrible. You marry the right one, it's fantastic. I speak from knowledge because I've been married to my sweetheart for 68 years. It's been fantastic. So, all I could say, there's really nothing you can't do when you do it with your spouse because you're doing it together. And when you do things together, whatever it is you want to do in your lives, you have the capacity to accomplish. I will tell you, I had the misfortune of buying the World Trade Center 6 weeks before 9/11. My sense of timing was afsalachas. But when I decided that I wanted to rebuild it and that ultimately take the rest of my business life to accomplish it, so far it's been 23 years. I'm only 93, so I'm a real kid. I came to my wife and I said, sweetheart, I can't do this without you. I said, I think I'd like to rebuild the Trade Center. But since I promised you that whatever you wanted me to do, we would do once we bought it and owned it, I made a commitment to you. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Because I can't do it alone. I can't do it without 100% of your support. She stood there for a minute, looked at me and said, you're not going to be happy doing anything else with your life. So let's get on with rebuilding the Trade Center. Hell of a partner. Best partner I could have had for that purpose. But I found the last 23 years at rebuilding the Trade Center that without her support, without her being there by my side, without my being able to put my head on her bosom and complain about what the day had just been like, the horror, the difficulties, the problems, the bureaucracy, the anti-Semitism. Without her, it couldn't have happened. It couldn't have been accomplished. So what I can say to you is the best advice I can give you, make sure, if you haven't already done so, make sure you married the right spouse. Anything else? Thank you all. Good luck, and God bless you.